The rain hammered down as I stood at the edge of our driveway, my suitcase soaked through and my laptop bag pressed tightly to my chest. Through the downpour, my father's face remained sharp in the doorway, twisted with fury. "You're throwing your life away on some ridiculous startup," he shouted, his voice clashing with the rumble of thunder. "No daughter of mine wastes a Stanford degree like this." Behind him, my mother hovered, eyes full of worry, her voice softer but no less heavy. "Olivia, please, Goldman Sachs is offering you everything: security, prestige, a real future." I clutched my laptop bag tighter, the outline of my business plan hard against my ribs. 2 years of work, 3 tech incubators, and hundreds of hours of research, dismissed in a heartbeat because it didn't fit their version of success. "This isn't nonsense," I said, my voice steady despite the tremble in my hands. "AI-powered cybersecurity is the future, my algorithm." "Enough," my father snapped. "Take that job, or don't come back." I stood motionless as the rain soaked through my clothes. 23 years old, Stanford grad, about to be homeless, but I felt something shift inside me, not fear, but clarity. "Then I guess I won't be coming back," I said, lifting the suitcase. My mother gasped. "Olivia, don't do this, think about your future." "I am, just not the one you picked out for me." As I turned away, my father's final words cut through the storm. "If you leave now, don't bother returning until you've learned your lesson." I didn't look back. I walked to my beat-up Honda Civic, the car I bought with internship money, the one they said was beneath me. They'd wanted to gift me a luxury vehicle for graduation, another shiny chain. The engine sputtered, then roared to life. In the rearview mirror, my childhood home faded behind the sheets of rain. 12 years of straight A's, leadership roles, and overachievement, all dismissed because I dared to choose my own path. I drove through the polished streets of Atherton, past manicured lawns and iron gates, a world where success was measured in square footage and stock options. I wanted something different, something I could build. My phone buzzed with messages. "Mom, please come back. We just want what's best." "Dad, don't throw away everything we've done for you." "Mom, just go to the interview. One meeting." I powered off the phone and kept driving. In my bag was the code I'd spent years refining, the algorithm no one believed in except Professor Chin. He'd seen its potential back when it was just a concept. "The biggest breakthroughs come from those who refuse to follow the crowd," he told me once, "but the world doesn't like being disrupted." I hadn't understood what he meant, until now. The first few weeks were brutal. I bounced between college friends' couches, careful not to overstay. By day, I worked from coffee shops, refining my code and pitching to investors. At night, I freelanced to pay for cheap food and shared rent. My parents' shadow followed me into every room. More than one investor ghosted me after a courtesy call with my father. Meetings that had gone well ended with polite rejections, citing conflicts of interest. "He's just trying to protect you," one family friend told me after another deal fell through. Startups fail, most of them don't make it. But every rejection only sharpened my focus. I kept improving the algorithm, expanding its reach, gathering real results. I lived on instant noodles and bad coffee, working 18-hour days from a folding chair in a shared flat in San Jose. It was nothing like the future my parents had scripted, and yet, it finally felt like mine. 3 months in, I caught a break. A small cybersecurity firm agreed to pilot my software. It outperformed every expectation, detecting threats their existing systems had missed. Word spread. The same investors who'd once ignored me now flooded my inbox, but I remembered who'd believed in me when no one else had. Sarah Chen, a junior partner at Nova Ventures, had taken a chance on me. "Your parents' name might open doors," she told me in our first meeting, "but your innovation, that'll knock them down." With Nova's seed funding, I launched Security AI. We rented a tiny office, more storage closet than startup space, and I hired 2 brilliant programmers overlooked by big tech. Like me, they didn't fit the mold. We weren't polished, but we were building something that mattered. My parents didn't give up easily. Even after I walked away, they sent a parade of concerned relatives to steer me back on track. Old family friends started coincidentally bumping into me at cafes or events, each one armed with job offers, cautionary tales, and thinly veiled attempts to talk me out of my startup. "Your sister took over the family investment firm," my mother reminded me during one of her rare calls. "She's already a partner. Meanwhile, you're throwing away your potential on this experiment." I ended the call and went back to debugging my code. What they didn't know, couldn't see, was that security AI was gaining traction. Behind the scenes, major tech firms were already reaching out, asking questions, requesting demos. Ironically, my sister's firm, the shining jewel of family pride, was using outdated security protocols I could crack in minutes. 6 months after leaving home, we signed our first major client, a mid-sized bank recovering from a crippling cyber attack. Within a week, our system had blocked 3 new breach attempts and locked down their network. The results spoke louder than any resume ever could. Tech blogs picked up the story. They called it a revolutionary leap in AI cybersecurity, built by a Stanford alum. They never mentioned my last name. That wasn't by accident. I wanted security AI to rise because it worked, not because of who I was or who I was related to. Exactly 1 year from the night I stood in the rain with nowhere to go, I stood in a real office, with windows, desks, and space for the growing team. The view overlooked a cracked parking lot and a faded billboard, but in my mind, I saw security AI lit up in bright lights. I had no idea how literally that vision would come true. 4 years later, security AI had grown beyond anything I imagined. Our scrappy team of 3 had become 200 employees spread across 3 cities. Our office was now a glass tower in downtown San Francisco, overlooking the bay. Every morning, I stood at the window and let the view remind me of everything we'd built, and everything we'd walked through to get here. But success had its own price. The bigger we got, the harder it became to stay out of my family's orbit. Tech magazines called weekly. Business journals asked for interviews, profiles, cover stories. I turned them all down. I wanted our work to speak louder than any name could. "You can't hide forever," Sarah Chen said one morning, sipping her coffee as we reviewed yet another press request. She was no longer just our first investor, she was my closest advisor, and one of the few people who truly understood. Security AI is becoming too big to stay anonymous. She was right. Just weeks earlier, our AI had prevented a massive cyber attack on one of the country's largest banks, saving them billions. The story spread fast, and inevitably, it reached my family. The first ping came through LinkedIn. Marina, my sister, now managing partner at the family firm, had sent a message. Interesting article about security AI. The founder's name was missing, but the Stanford link and launch date are telling. We should talk. I archived it without replying. 2 days later, my mother called. Her voice was softer than I remembered. "Olivia, why didn't you tell us? Your father and we've been following the company. We didn't know it was you." I let the silence stretch for a moment. "Would it have made a difference?" I asked, my voice even. "Would you have supported me if you had?" She didn't answer. "Not really." "I have a meeting," I said. "Goodbye, Mom." That meeting was with Microsoft. Their cybersecurity division wanted to integrate security AI across their global platform. The deal would make our system a standard, and our company a household name. Standing in their Seattle boardroom, presenting to a panel of executives, I couldn't help but think of the girl in the rain with a suitcase and a dream. Microsoft was just the beginning. Google called, then Apple. We sparked a bidding war between tech giants. Our valuation soared past $1 billion, and security AI became the fastest-growing cybersecurity startup in history. I still lived simply. Most of my income went straight back into R&D. My apartment was modest. My car now a Tesla Model 3, more out of necessity than luxury. I liked the autopilot. It gave me time to think after long nights at the office. Then came the offer I hadn't expected. The New York Stock Exchange wanted to feature security AI in its Times Square campaign spotlighting groundbreaking tech companies. A giant digital billboard. My name, my story, my face. No more anonymity, no more hiding. Sarah leaned over my shoulder as I stared at the email, unread. "It's time," she said quietly. "You've proven everything you needed to prove." The morning my face lit up Times Square's largest billboard. I sat in our New York office pretending it was just another day, but my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. "Dad, we just drove past Times Square. Is this why you've been hiding from us?" "Mom, please, can we meet? We were wrong, so terribly wrong." "Marina, that's quite a statement. Little sister, father is having a meltdown." I let them all go to voicemail. Instead, I focused on our latest project, a free version of security AI for nonprofits and schools, because success meant nothing if it didn't make a difference. But they didn't give up. My parents showed up in our lobby. refusing to leave until they saw me. 3 hours later, Sarah leaned on my desk. Sometimes, she said gently, closure is more important than avoiding pain. I took the elevator down. When the doors opened, I barely recognized them. My father's once imposing presence had deflated. His expensive suit hung awkwardly on slouched shoulders. My mother's carefully composed expression was softened by something unfamiliar, real emotion. Olivia, my father said, his voice thin with regret, we were wrong. What you've built, it's extraordinary. We've missed you, my mother added. Please, let's make things right. I looked at the people who had spent years trying to mold me into their image of success, the ones who threw me out for choosing a different path. 5 years ago, I would have given anything to hear those words. But now, I'm not the same girl you kicked out, I said quietly. She wanted your approval more than anything, but she grew up. She built something that matters, not because of you, in spite of you. My father winced. We see that now, he said. We'd like to be part of your life again, maybe even collaborate. Marina's firm could bring security AI into the family portfolio. I held up a hand. That's exactly why this meeting needs to be short. They both froze. I didn't build security AI to earn my way back into this family, I said. I built it because I believed in something bigger than any of us, and I still do. My mother's voice cracked. But we're still your parents, doesn't that mean something? I nodded slowly. It does. It means I'm grateful for the education you gave me, for the lessons, both the ones you meant to teach and the ones you didn't. And now, I finally know what I want to say to you. They leaned in, hope flickering in their eyes. Thank you, I said, for kicking me out that night. It was exactly what I needed to become who I was meant to be. I turned and walked away, back toward the elevator. In the reflection of the polished doors, I saw their faces shift, from hope to understanding. They had come expecting forgiveness, a tearful reunion, a return to the fold. Instead, they found a daughter who no longer needed their approval. The next morning, Security AI stock opened at $245 a share. My face still looked down from the Times Square billboard. But none of it was about proving anything anymore. It was about the thousands of organizations our tech protected, the jobs we created, the kids in underserved communities who would learn cybersecurity using our donated platform. My phone buzzed. Sarah, your father's firm just tried to buy a major stake in Security AI. I smiled and texted back. Me, too late. We already donated those shares to fund cybersecurity education for underprivileged students. Because sometimes, success isn't about proving your worth to others. Sometimes, it's about proving to yourself that you were right to believe, even when no one else did. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living well, on your own terms. It's making a difference in ways money can't measure. The rain had stopped in New York. As I walked to our office that morning, sunlight warming my face, I smiled at the symmetry. 5 years ago, I stood in the rain, feeling lost and alone. Now, I walked in the light, knowing exactly who I was. And exactly what I was worth.